Okay.
Hi guys, Matt with Trucks Powersports here in Midland, Michigan. Today we're going to be talking about front differentials, a few issues that you guys might be running into. This exact one that we're going to open up is out of a Polaris Ranger XP 1000 North Star, but it doesn't matter whether you got a 900, an 800, a Polaris 570 Sportsman. Across the board, all these diffs operate in the exact same way. So whether you're having a binding issue in the front diff where it's almost like a brake locking up, or you're getting a rattling noise up front like a can of marbles, any of those things. Inside of here, I'll kind of walk you through a little bit so you can open up your diff with a little bit of confidence and pinpoint what your issue would be. Now, not all front diffs are going to be savable. Sometimes you're going to have, parts beyond repairable. So you won't know until you open it up. So first thing we're going to do is go around the case and crack open all of these screws. Don't worry, all of these screws are the same size, so you don't have to worry about which ones came out of what spot. It's always a good idea too, like this one was really dirty, so it's always a really good idea just to kind of wash it off a little bit so you're not going to drop off a bunch of dirt in the inside of the case. There is a couple pry points. You don't need a big pry bar, just a small screwdriver, and that'll just kind of pop this guy up. And be careful in the center here, because if you pull that guy up, so just kind of put a little bit of pressure with your finger with this guy, because you're just trying to look to pull the case up by itself without pulling the hub out. So once this guy comes up, underneath inside of here, these all work by being magnetized. So you're going to have a plate that gets sucked to this when it senses when you put in four-wheel drive, and they're on demand. So it slips and the rear tires slip. It'll send power to the front diff. It'll make this plate magnetized to it, which then is going to grab the center of the diff, spin it. It'll kind of roll up and lock in a four-wheel drive. Around the outside here, you're going to make sure that your plastic ring, this prevents like chattering and moving in the inside. These come apart right here, so you can just pull this off and look and make sure that part's not damaged. So our outer case here, the magnet, all this stuff looks really well. This plate here has a little bit of wear marks on it, but it's not grooved or anything. This would be reusable. You could replace it if you want to, but in this case, there would be absolutely no reason to replace that. Now, you do have a tensioner spring in the inside of here, and your separator plastic piece. So when this guy goes back in, it kind of crosses, creates tension inside there, and there is, on your ring and pinion gear, there's a little tiny tab that this guy will come up and it'll lock. You just got to grab this guy. Putting it together is a little bit easier after everything's all cleaned up, not so slippery. So this guy will come inside of here, and then you would have your plastic ring. This guy has, which these break a lot of, there's a little tiny tab here. Then also the tab that this tension spring goes on, you just want to make sure neither of those are broke. Then once this goes in there, it'll slide right in between that and kind of lock into place. So I'm trying to make it very simple for you guys to follow. So now in the center of this, you're going to see when this pulls out, this might get stuck on the other side. It doesn't matter what side that this portion inside your cup comes out on. And then you're just going to check your bearings. They always have a little bit of side load, but if you're opening it up, it's best just to put all brand new bearings inside of it. From this part here, just when you pull this out, grab in the inside, because you're going to have your center gear. Now these sometimes are plastic. These also crack and break, but this is what turns. And then when you get a lot of chattering noise, things like that, that's usually what gets worn out. So when this guy comes out of here, we're going to flip this around here, and you're going to inspect your ring and pinion gear. You're also going to have a plastic washer. And this is actually going to be a spacer of a shim. So, and you can order these. You don't ever see two of them in the front diff. They're not something that you're going to have to worry about, you know, replacing typically. Might have replaced one in the 500 front diffs that I've rebuilt. And that's because it just scattered a bunch of stuff around. But the ring and pinion itself, you know, you're going to want to make sure you look in the inside, spin this guy over. Usually you're going to find that these guys will have cracks, chunks taken out of them, things like that. That's usually due to wear on the front diff, meaning like you didn't, you know, change your fluid as frequent enough, or you ran through a bunch of water. It got really hot inside of here. Low on fluid, because, you know, I have seen these guys run the wrong diff fluid, which it takes a helical gear oil. Whether you're running the Polaris oil or JD10 oil, as long as it's a helical gear oil, it doesn't matter. That's all that this thing is looking for. It's not the Polaris oil isn't a special, you know, oil that you can only get from Polaris, which a lot of people think so, but, you know, it's absolutely not correct. And then also in the center, you know, you want to, if you pull this guy out, you know, these little tiny rollers all the way around, these guys can get damaged, except for you're going to look for cracks all the way around this guy. If you see any cracks, wears, flat spots, you know, that's your issue. Again, any cracks or anything around your ring gear, your pinion gear, when you're opening up, again, just make sure that you're replacing all of your bearings and everything on it. Now, this is a very, very crucial part that, you know, we talked about, you know, on your cups. So you'll see one cup doesn't have a plastic spacer in it. The other cup does. If you mix these cups up, so let's say if I put this one here, now the cups are exactly the same, but the spacer always has to be on your non-magnetic side. What will happen is if you put this cup on your magnetic side, know from experience, your four-wheel drive will not lock in because of the spacing on it. It doesn't allow the magnetism to work properly on the side. So make sure that your plastic spacer is always going into your case side that is not your magnetic cover side. It's always best to pull these out. Now, on your pinion gear, when you pop out your seal here, you're going to have a clip. You need to make sure that you pull that master clip out, and then you'll be able to pull your pinion gear out. There is going to be a big bearing back here. Use a press to take that off and press it back on. That's your best way to do it. Always make sure that you look at your splines and stuff, because on your drive shafts you'll get a lot of chatter and stuff too, and it'll beat these splines up. If you have to put a ring and pinion gear in it, you might as well just buy a front diff at that point. Most of the time you just want to do bearing seals. Cups not usually have to be replaced a whole lot. If you need a case half, sometimes it's worth, you know, rebuilding the front diff for. So you know, hopefully this video helps get you guys on the right path of being able to diagnose your front diff. Now remember, guys, if you are opening up something and you're unsure, feel free to contact us. You can send me pictures of what's going on, or as you're opening it up, I'll be happy to respond, answer some questions for you on that side. You know, but this is just a quick little tutorial video of opening up your front diff and kind of what to expect to see in the inside of a front diff. But again, guys, go ahead, follow our channel, and send us any questions or anything that you may have. Thank you, guys.